Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today I have a video all about the new Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic Palette. I am a really big fan of Kat Von D makeup. You guys probably already know that if you watch my channel. Every time she releases, especially a new palette, I'm always looking for it. So this is the newest palette to the Kat Von D line. It is called the Alchemist Palette, and it comes in this really beautiful box with like this holographic print. And then this is what the palette itself looks like. It is like lightly holographic, nothing compared to the box obviously, but like when it hits the light, it does have a little bit of iridescence to it. I picked this palette up on Sephora.com for $32, and I'm sure it will be available in Sephora stores really soon. I'm not sure if this is limited edition or permanent, but I want to guess it's a limited edition product, but I'm not 100% sure. The packaging is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, just judging by the way it looks online. It is really small. If you can see it next to my face, next to my hand, I mean, it's like palm size. It's cute, it's just not exactly what I was expecting, but it does open up like this. It's in a nice cardboard case with a magnetic closure. You get a little mirror up here, and then you are getting 4 different what they call holographic powders. Now these powders are meant for eye and face use. They are completely eye and face safe. Now I will say, when I first saw this product being hyped up, I was really excited about it, because anything with the word holographic that has kind of like a duochrome shift, I am all over it. After receiving this in the mail and seeing how small it is, and then comparing it to another really popular palette that I already have, the Anastasia Moonchild palette, I've realized that this is not really the most unique product. Now in this video, I will show you guys full palette swatches. I will also tell you guys about the formula and the texture, and then I will also do side-by-side comparisons of similar colors that are from the Anastasia Moonchild palette and tell you how these two compare. So this is going to be a pretty in-depth video. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it by showing you the swatches of this palette. So here are all of the colors you get from left to right. We have green emerald, blue sapphire, ultraviolet amethyst, and pink opal. I hope that the camera is really picking up the iridescence of these powders. They all have a fairly translucent base with a really strong color shift. All of these powders are beautifully pigmented. Now do remember, they do have a translucent base. So upon first application, you may think, oh, I don't really see any like pop of color, but it's when it hits the light that iridescence or that true pop of color really pops. Formula-wise, these are incredibly smooth, very finely milled, but not too finely milled that they kick up a lot of powder. Even if you went into this with a fluffier brush, you're not gonna get a ton of powder kick up. These work amazingly even on the eyes using just eye brushes, because they're smooth and silky, but they're not too powdery. Now, while I wouldn't particularly use this palette as a solo eye palette, I do think it's really cool to bring in some of these shades with other eye looks. I've popped like this ultraviolet amethyst color on the inner corners of my eyes on some looks, and I have a shade that's very similar to pink opal. I don't have actually pink opal on my eyes, but I have a shade that's very similar popped on the inner corners right now. I really like every single one of these colors. I love how each color is very different from any other color in the palette. So even though you have 4 shades only, you are getting a nice range. While I do think the quality of this palette is fantastic, all of the colors are really beautiful, the only drawback that I have, the only con I can say about this palette is the size and the amount of product you're getting. I'll do a full price breakdown comparing it to the Anastasia Moonchild palette towards the end of the video, but I will say you're only getting 1.53 0.3 grams in each of these pans, which is pretty much exactly the size of a full-size MAC single shadow. If you were to use this exclusively as an eyeshadow type palette, I think it will last you a really good amount of time. But if you are going to use it the way they say you can and use it on your face and your eyes, using it on your face is definitely going to eat up a lot more of this product, and you're probably going to end up going through it pretty quickly. Okay, so now how does this palette compare to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild palette? I know this is a permanent palette. I picked this up on the Anastasia Beverly Hills website when she originally stocked it, and this was months ago. This is one of my favorite highlighter palettes in my collection. I've talked about it in a couple of favorites videos. This purple horseshoe color is love. I love it so, so much, but all of these colors are beautiful. They all have that duochrome iridescence, which is what the Kat Von D palette claims to do as well. Now, obviously, the Anastasia palette has 6 shades instead of the 4 that are in the Kat Von D, and you can probably even just tell. Let me hold them next to each other. I mean, the pans of the Anastasia are significantly bigger. You are getting significantly more product. So here are side-by-side swatches of colors from the Kat Von D Alchemist palette directly next to a corresponding color in the Anastasia Moonchild Glow Kit. So from left to right, we have the Kat Von D Green Emerald next to the Anastasia Lucky Clover. Then we have Blue Sapphire from the Kat Von D palette next to Blue Moon in the Anastasia. Then we have Ultraviolet Amethyst from the Kat Von D palette compared to Purple Horseshoe from the Anastasia Moonchild. And lastly, we have Pink Opal from the Kat Von D next to Pink Heart from the Anastasia. I mean, you guys can just see that these colors are so, so similar, and especially if you wear them diffused on the cheeks. If you're planning on using this as a face highlighter, you will not be able to tell the difference. The main difference that I can tell between the Alchemist palette and the Moonchild palette is that the Moonchild palette is a little bit chunkier in formula, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's got a little bit more pronounced shimmer in it, and the particles, just the powder itself, is just denser. The particles are just a lot more glittery, whereas the Kat Von D just seems to be a lot more finely milled, and that duochrome almost seems to be more of like a lit from within duochrome on the cheeks. Now for the actual price per gram breakdown, which I think is probably the most important thing to look at when you're comparing two palettes like this. So for the Alchemist palette, this retails for $32. You're getting 4 shades at 1.53 grams a piece, which means you are getting 6.12 grams total. That means that you are paying $5.23 per gram in this palette. That is very, very expensive. Anything over $5 per gram is expensive. You're almost walking that line into luxury makeup in that price point. Now comparing that to the Anastasia Moonchild Glow Kit, this is a $40 palette. You're getting 6 colors at 4.2 grams each, meaning you're getting 25.2 grams total. That breaks down to $1.59 per gram that you're paying in this palette. So $5.23 per gram versus $1.59 per gram. That's almost a $4 per gram difference. That's a lot. Between these two, in my opinion, the only pros to getting the Kat Von D one over the Anastasia one would be if you like the packaging. I think it's very cute. I think it's very compact. If you're looking for something relatively travel friendly, this might be what you're looking for. Other than the unique packaging, you're getting a mirror in this palette, which you're not getting in the Anastasia, and you're just getting a very, very, you know, basic 4 colors that you can use for almost any look, and the actual formula is a lot more finely milled. It's a lot smoother. In my opinion, the biggest difference, which I think is going to be a make or break for some people, is that the Kat Von D palette is made in the USA, but but the Anastasia palette is made in China. I know some people are just really against makeup made in China, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I would always prefer something to be made in the US where I live. It just feels like you're kind of just helping your own economy a little bit more, but either way, for the price difference, I do think the Anastasia one is excellent. I'm personally happy to have both. I definitely don't think you need both. If you already have the Anastasia one, you probably don't need this one, but I love it. You guys know I love Kat Von D, and the quality is very, very good. It's just disappointing that there is another palette that is of a better price for value and that gives you all of the same colors and more. That's just my honest opinion, but I would love to know what you guys think of this palette. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next one on Monday. I will see you then. Bye! Colored Rain is an indie brand that got really popular from their liquid lipsticks, and I know you guys are good. Packaging of them looks like they look very, very similar to the Jeffree Star or the Dose of Color.